Hey everybody, it's Ashley Francis, the Holistic Psychotherapist, and today I'm going to talk about one of the most common questions that I get asked all of the time, and that is, how do I know if I'm with the one? So first of all, I want to address this whole notion of the one. I think it's important to keep in mind that there is likely going to be more than one in your life that you feel aligned with, connected with on a deep level, or even that you are really supposed to be with in this lifetime. So I think getting rid of this whole idea that there needs to be this one singular person that we're meant to be with in this lifetime already invites a whole host of problems. So the first step to being able to even address this subject is just to simply give credence to the fact that there is likely going to be more than one person in your life, either in a platonic sense or a romantic sense, however you define the one. So that's first. The next is that it's more so about having a type versus it being just the one, a certain type of person, or being attributed to that one person. It's more so about a type, and we all have different things that we are attracted to, and much of what determines what we are attracted to is based on past experience. So if we were particularly attracted to somebody in grade school, it's likely that we are going to be attracted to someone with those same characteristics later in life. This is just something that simply gets ingrained in us from a young age, and it just tends to carry it over into adulthood. So it can be more advantageous also to consider thinking about what is the type that you are looking for and most attracted to and most compatible with. Next is to keep in mind that this will change as you change over time. Think about who you were last year. Think about who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We change, and that's the natural order of things. We are supposed to change, and therefore what we like, what we don't like, what our values are, what our priorities are, they change vastly. So it makes sense that who we're going to be attracted to also is going to change. So the idea here is that if you are with a partner, you're choosing a partner that is changing with you and you with them, that you're both motivated to put change into action so that you are changing together. Next is that this person is, they don't have imperfections that are deal breakers for you. And I think it's really important for you to get really crystal clear on what your deal breakers are from the very get-go. I want to make sure that I'm not with somebody that is abusive, that is criticizing, that is punishing, that struggles with alcohol or substance abuse. So it's up to you to become really clear on this before you even set out, as this makes it a lot more clear and easier for you to make this distinction later on. Now keep in mind that this part can get really tricky because sometimes people think that they've identified a deal breaker when it's really not. It may be something that's a little bit more superficial. So if you need some help figuring that out, therapy is a good place to really dig into that. Another thing to keep in mind is that love compromises our brain chemistry. When we fall in love, our serotonin drops and we become what's known as lovesick. It's hard to eat, it's hard to sleep, it's hard to get that person off of our minds. So we kind of get into this love-drunk state, and it makes it harder for us to see past all of the flaws and all of the problems that may be going on. There are some researchers that say that being in love or this love-sick phase can actually last up to about 36 months. Personally, I think that's a bit long. I usually think that it lasts about 6 months to maybe 2 years, but that's what the research is showing. So it's in our best interest to take things slow, to not make these big commitments until our love-drunk brains have become more sober and we're able to see things for what they are and to see that person for who they are. So, and again, we want to bring emphasis to the fact that you want to choose a partner who is committed to working on the relationship. And this also assumes that you are committed to working on the relationship. It's not possible for you to know if this person is the one just based off of a few weeks, a few months, or it could even be a few years. It might even take longer than that. Really just depends on who you are and the pace that you feel most comfortable moving at. So you want to choose somebody that is committed to working on it. Some other things that really count are compatibility, chemistry, a sense of deep love, admiration, respect, fun, and humor. So those are other things that have been identified to be commonalities that you might want to look for in a person to determine if this is the one for the moment or it could be the one for a lifetime. It just depends on what is unfolding on your journey and your path. So you also want to pick somebody that brings out the best version of you and vice versa. So making sure that when you're with that person, you are your best version. You are tapping into who you want to be and not putting on a fake facade or trying to be someone else or trying to mold yourself to be some version of what you think they want, or even worse, or in addition to, I should say, trying to be a version to please someone else, even like a parent. I'm trying to be with this person because I know that it is pleasing to my parents and that's my way of gaining some approval. So it's about getting really honest and checking in with yourself to make sure that this is somebody that is compatible with you in that way, and you're both bringing out the best version of yourselves with one another. Another characteristic is that you face challenges together, which also results in becoming stronger. So there again, this is all based on time. And there are some folks that say that it's not really necessarily based on numbers. It's not about weeks or years, but really it's about experiences. And it takes some time to be able to experience a variety of adversity together and to be able to navigate that well. You really need to be able to experience adversity together to see how you're going to either come together or not. Some of the best advice that I think my dad's ever given me is that if you want to know if you're compatible with somebody, travel with them. You get out of your comfort zone, you're forced to navigate unfamiliar territory, and it's likely to bring up conflict. In fact, it's very likely to bring up conflict. So that's a good test for the relationship to see how you guys navigate those types of things. Next is that you have values, goals, and must-haves that align. So again, this points to the fact that you yourself need to get very clear on what your values, your goals, and your must-haves are. If you don't know what those are, then you're likely going to continue to experience some confusion while in your relationship. And that's okay. You can start at any time, but really it's up to you to get clear on this. And again, that's a good thing to do in therapy with a mentor, a coach, someone that knows you well, could be an elder, could be a clergyman, just getting outside of yourself to be able to identify some of those things. And also, it's safe for you to be your authentic self. You can be you around this person. And you don't feel like you have to conceal. You don't have to hide. And again, that's probably going to take some time. And finally, it just feels right. You know in your gut, you know in your intuition, if this is somebody that you want to be with. Oftentimes you hear people say it's in the kiss. I can spend some time with them and we're compatible and they check all my boxes, but when I get near them, my body kind of repels them and it doesn't feel good. Or we kiss and I totally expected that there was going to be sparks and there just weren't. So this can also be a good barometer to check in on the soul level and the body level to see if this is somebody that feels good to your soul. And they may not. I know that I've had experiences like that before where the person has checked all my boxes, but just being around them, something felt off. And that was enough for me to break things off. So I hope this was helpful in providing some insight on finding the one and giving you some ideas to run through to determine if the person that you're with is the one, or perhaps some insight into some work that needs to be done on your end to make that better. As always, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think about this subject we discussed, and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.